Hello and welcome wherever you may be, whenever you may be. You have found one of the newer Oriole dedicated YouTube channels. My name's Steve, and I guess my YouTube handle is The Bird Watcher. Starting a whole season here where I'm going to have the ambition, anyway, to do play-by-play coverage here live streaming on YouTube for all 162 Oriole regular season games and hopefully several postseason games as well. And also dip into a bit of spring training. So if you're looking for maybe an alternative source to follow the game besides your television or radio, might I suggest you maybe subscribe to my channel. Things are looking pretty empty right now. You can look at my channel page and see some old Oriole games from the 80s and 90s that I did some play calling for in an effort to get a little practice in, get comfortable, play around with settings and what have you. Hello there, Rishi. But for tonight and probably once a week for the next several weeks here in February and March, I figure I'll do something somewhat similar to a podcast. It's really not anything professional, as you can see. There is zero Orioles merch around me. I've got a poster. I'm planning on putting it up, but it's really hard to move Florence Pugh from her throne right here. She is the May Queen, after all. But yeah, I'm on to talk again about a little bit of Orioles news and notes. It's been about a week since the last time I spoke, and boy, what a week. What a difference a week can make. Last week it was all about Christmas morning and opening up a Red Ryder BB gun present hidden behind the desk there. A fellow by the name of Corbin Burns coming to the team, instantly making our rotation not just upgraded, but I mean a domino effect all the way through the staff. And pundits were suddenly saying we've got one of the top pitching staffs in all of baseball. Maybe arguably one of the best top threes in all of baseball. Well, that news was fun for about a week, and I enjoyed staring at the projected rotation. Of course, that was including Burns at the top, Bradish number 2, Grayson number 3, and for most people, John Means 4, and Dean Kramer 5. Well, spring training came, and after about 24 hours of getting to know you, maybe getting a few photo ops in, Orioles social media throwing out the videos and photos to get everybody hyped. That was all well and good. It's nice to see Burns in an Oriole uniform, Craig Kimbrell getting some throws in. But then the news came. Injury news. And my God, what a way to rain on the Oriole parade before we even get going. This is really tough. The Orioles have done a great job in building one of the better balanced teams out there. The kind of team, especially on offense, where if you lose one guy goes down, it's not necessarily the end of the world. It's a strong lineup top to bottom, and we got a lot of moving parts that we can plug and play in situations where, one of our stronger players may not be available. But not one, but 2 starting pitchers down in the rotation. 40% of our rotation is down. Just like that. Is the snapping picking up on the microphone? Just like that. And we're not talking about the back end of Kramer. Well, we're talking about a little bit of the back end. But, I mean, Bradish. This guy finished 4th in the Cy Young vote. And he's up and coming. Who knows how much better things are going to look for him this year with that year under his belt and maybe the tutelage of Burns now, who Bradish has publicly stated many times over is the exact pitcher that he molds his own style around. So that mentorship, which can still take place. I mean, Bradish is down there in Florida right now. He did some light tossing today. I'm not going to get into all the details about the treatment, the time, and first of all, there is no timetable according to Mike Elias. But all the speculation that can go with, well, how long could he be out? That's not really anything for me. You just have to think about, well, what are you gonna do to replace? That's what I'm worried about. How do you replace this? Well, if it were just Bradish or Means, well, first of all, there's two different sort of injury situations. Bradish has an injury that, with the treatment that he's being given, could see him be pitching and starting for Orioles games maybe as early as May or June. Who knows? That's best case scenario, though, it would appear. But that still means one of your best starters out for the first couple of months of the season, in all likelihood. Best case scenario. That's a third of your season. And then Means, let me go ahead and make myself a little bit smaller here. You don't need to be looking at me anyway, right? What do I got here? We look over here. I'm reading up on the John Means status. And the thing with Means is I just feel like as an organization, the Orioles just, like, you want to have the optimism. You want to look at how he came back last year, and when he was put back in the rotation, there weren't any setbacks in the regular season. I think he made 6 starts. He looked good. I believe the ERA was hovering around 3 in his 6 starts. It was as if the old John Means was ready to come back and between the playoffs and then 2024, we're like, great. We got our ex-ace, who's now in a rotation that is so strong, he's slotted as our number 4 guy. Well, yeah, I just feel like at this point, with the setback that prevented him from playing in the postseason and is now going to make him at least a month late and being ready to start the season. Look, I'd love a great story to develop where Means rehabs from this latest setback and comes in and maybe starts 26 games for us or something, or 24, 25 games. That'd be great. But I just don't think at this stage with Means that we can treat him as anything more than just a nice luxury to have to go along with 5 guys who we consider starting pitchers, if you understand what I'm saying. I love John Means. He is a starting pitcher. He deserves a spot in the rotation when he's fit. But basically what I'm saying is we need to go out and get a 5-man rotation that, if Means is healthy, well, now he's in a battle with Dean Kramer maybe for that last spot or something. It's no longer we've got a place for you here, Means. It's you got to work your way back into the rotation kind of thing for Means, which I think he can do in a 5-man rotation. I don't see how he's not at least grabbing a 5th spot if he's healthy. But we just simply cannot expect both him and Bradish to return and feel like we just need to buy a month or two and find a stopgap. Well, here's my solution, okay? Here's the best I can say. Tyler Wells is now back in the rotation, period. This is easy, okay? He was one of the best starting pitchers in the American League in the first half last season. He was our best starter in the rotation. When you look at the numbers, I think he had the lowest whip in the whole American League, like hovering right around a flat 1. And then, obviously, as we saw it happen, and as it was reported, he hit a bit of a wall. He's not stretched out to be a starter and go a full season and pitch you 160, 70, 80 innings. He gets to about that 100 inning or so mark, right around the halfway mark of the season, and that's when the wheels start coming off. Now, the good thing about Means is he gets to that stage. it's not like you have to just shut him down. He is able to make the transition to the bullpen and come in and give you, a hard inning of, 20 darts thrown to try to get a few outs. So he's still going to have, and that's why Tyler Wells is so crucial to our staff. So let's go ahead and just pencil Tyler Wells in to this rotation, because if he's in the starting five opening day, we have a guy who has proven last year to be very much capable and, if not above average, as a starting pitcher in our rotation. So, boom. I would even go so far as to say Wells might be ahead of Kramer in the pecking order. If we have only 4 guys right now, if Means and Bradish are out of the equation and we're building this rotation, right now I'm saying Corbin Burns, Grayson Rodriguez, then Tyler Wells, and then Dean Kramer. I might get a little flack for that. But again, I'm thinking, let's get what we can out of Wells while we can. This is the opportunity that says, well, this is why Wells is so valuable. We got a guy. We got a good guy. We don't have a 6-month guy, but we got a guy that can get us to the All-Star break. And that's the thing. Let's say there's these 2 spots, and one spot, and let's say worst case scenario, Means and Bradish just simply can't do it this year. All right? Well, for the Means spot, first half he got Tyler Wells. And then if the wheels start falling off, that's right at the All-Star break. That's right near the trade deadline. Go out and make that push to get whatever best player out there, or at least, solid player. Maybe not Jack Flaherty this time. But there's bound to be a half a dozen or so starting pitchers that are, a 6-month rental or 6-month, whatever, half-season rental. So you can go ahead and then put Wells back into the bullpen and then replace him in that rotation with whoever you pick up at the trade deadline. And, of course, we have pieces to trade, so I feel like we can make that happen. But, again, what if both of these pitchers are out long-term? Right now, if you go to the Orioles Fangraphs depth chart, their rotation has Wells as a 4 behind Kramer, and then Cole Irvin in the 5 spot. Now, I think Cole Irvin is a really good option in long relief. He was really good in that role last year. I like having a long relief lefty, especially if Means is out. I mean, that does give him a case to put him in the rotation. It would be our only lefty, but I haven't gotten to our solution yet. So for now, let me just say this is the long relief lefty that looked so good in this spot here amongst these men. Because now that pushes Keegan Aiken into the equation, along with Mike Baumann as your lefty and righty longer guys. Yeah, so you got Kimbrel closing, Cano as a setup, lefty middle relievers, Colomb and Perez, righty relievers, Webb and Tate. That's all well and good. And I think Mike Baumann, I don't know why he was left off the postseason roster last season over somebody like, say, Brian Baker. I know that's easy to say in hindsight, but I thought Baumann looked pretty good down the stretch. He's never going to blow you away, but he didn't seem to really shit the bed too often either. But yeah, looking at this, yeah, I got Wells in as a 4, no problem. Except Wells is probably going to get bumped to a 5, and Kramer's going to get bumped to a 4. You know why? Because we got to look at this. We got to look at these free agents, folks. I mean, we all know Blake Snell is out there, right? We all know Jordan Montgomery is out there, right? let's see. Some of these guys, I need guys who haven't been signed yet. Don't show me guys who are already signed. Available. How about that? Give that to me. All right, so yeah, Clevenger, Hyunjin Ryu, Michael Lorenzen. These are other names. And then there's the idea of executing yet another trade. We are deep farm. So here's the big four. Well, here's the two big pitchers, both lefties, Snell and Jordan Montgomery. Okay. And then you got some guys who have had some connections and talks with the Orioles. Hyunjin Ryu, Michael Lorenzen, and then there's Mike Clevenger, who's sort of a, middle, maybe 3 or 4 in a rotation that's trying to, do something. But yeah, I'm looking at these names, and if this is it, or the option is to try to make a trade for, say, Dylan Cease again, are we gonna start that back up? And then there's Jesus Luzardo, who, before we got Burns, that's what I had my eyes set on, was a trade for Jesus Luzardo. And I know it's going to involve giving up a package that's a lot less easy to digest as an Orioles fan than the package we got to get Burns. But I still feel like we might need to bite the bullet because, look, we are blessed with position players in our farm system. I mean, pretty much every position around the diamond, we got somebody. And in 1 or 2 spots, we got a couple of guys. I just feel like, yes, it's going to take at least one huge prospect and then probably another guy in the top 5 to 10 range in our system, plus maybe 2 more guys just to give some extra help here and there, maybe an arm. But, yeah, where's the trade simulator here? It's just Luzardo's trade value, his market value is just really, really high. But I feel like with the Marlins, you don't necessarily have to match the value. If you can get kind of close and you're giving a lot of pieces, and the Marlins like those pieces, and the Marlins are blessed themselves with a lot of pitching, I think they'd be willing to, allow us to pay 85 cents on the dollar, something like that. All right, so let's look for Luzardo. Let's pop him in. Other than Yuri Perez, he is the most valuable player on the Marlins in terms of market value, 65.4. Now, I'm going to try to build us a potential trade. Now, this was a lot easier before the Burns trade when I was playing around with this, because first thing I do is plug in Jory Ortiz. Piece of cake. And as soon as the Burns news came out, I was like, well, I know Ortiz is part of that package, and he was. Because, there is, he's the definition of redundancy with what we have. And he was the highest rated redundant player. So the most we can get back for somebody we really can't use. He really needed to go. So yeah, here we are looking at the top guys. And my boy Bradish is more valuable than Grayson at this point. That's amazing. I'm sure if he goes under the knife or something, that's not going to be the case any longer. But Basayo's all the way up to a top 4 Oriole player in terms of value. He's worth more than Corbin Burns. Okay? Just let that sink in. I know it's just Burns with 1 year of control and all that, but yeah. This evaluation of Basayo would explain why the Orioles are looking at him as that's off limits. Right. So, in my mind, we're going to have to give the Marlins one of Kjerstad or Cowser. And I'm sitting here debating which one would I rather give up. Cowser did not look great in his call up, but he still has some really impressive metrics and what have you. And also, much more so than Kjerstad, he can at least play you some decent defense in the outfield. Heston Kjerstad really looks like a DH that you throw into a corner outfield spot only because you have to when you have to. I mean, it's looking like that already. I mean, we barely saw him in the field. And, of course, in Baltimore, unless you're playing right field, you better be an above-average defender. There's just too much real estate out there. So, but I'm also thinking Kjerstad really has a legit shot at being a power lefty DH that deserves that spot. It's just tough to say. It's tough to say. One of them would have to go. But the thing is, Kjerstad is giving you way more value than Cowser is. And I do believe Cowser's got more to offer than what we saw in his big league call-up. And let's say Cowser doesn't turn out to be a stud everyday outfielder. He's going to at least, while we start making moves over the next few years in terms of what do we do with Anthony Santander, what will become of Cedric Mullins. Austin Hayes, I think, is good for another year or two. Yeah, I mean, Cowser feels like a guy that you can plug in any of the three outfield spots if need be. And there's upside. And he's now, maybe because of that bad showing in his first look in the majors, maybe that's why he's rated as low as he is. So I'm going to go ahead and stick Kjerstad. I like Kjerstad, but I'm going to put him in this deal. And what I'm going to try to do is put four guys together. I'm going to try to do a 4-for-1 because what I'm trying to do is avoid another top 5 prospect in this package. Kobe Mayo, no. Basayo, no. Westberg, no. Okay, we're letting Kjerstad in there, which means we're going to keep Cowser. Going on down the line. Dylan Beavers is a guy I want to throw in there. It's another outfielder. And then there's Ramon Urias. This is the other guy I want to throw in. And then a pitcher, and I'm thinking Cade Povich. Could be Seth Johnson. All right, if we throw in Seth Johnson, what are we looking like? We are pretty short. We are quite short. Wow, we really do have to give up another big piece, don't we? So maybe you don't go after Luzardo. I don't know. The one thing I'll say is if we kept Urias, and I really hate to do it, but if he sent Westberg packing, this probably gets it done. That's one infielder, one outfielder, a second outfield prospect. Oh, wow, that's actually too much. So then you can probably go ahead and take Beavers out of there. That'd probably do it. I don't want to lose Westberg, but here's the deal. If things go the way we expect or would hope for, right? I'm seeing an infield that has Mountcastle and O'Hearn like platooning at first, with Basayo waiting in the wings a year or two down the line maybe. Then at second, I think Jackson Holliday would be a good spot because I want to keep Gunnar at short. I think he's got a better arm, and I've seen him handle the position quite well, which means we got to groom Kobe Mayo for third base, all right? What we could do is play Urias at third as a stopgap, and, Urias, you're going to hit him in the bottom third of the order, and he's not going to, carry your team by any means, but, he didn't hurt us last year, right? And then once you've got Holiday up, then your Urias becomes sort of your utility guy, which really would be what Westberg would be if Kobe Mayo ever did get called up and play third base. Westberg's got to be the odd man out there. But this is a situation where, okay, you can trade Westberg, right? I know it sucks, but you're getting Luzardo. You're getting a lefty starter who's just entering his prime and everything. I think he'd be perfect in a rotation. 3 years of control. And again, we're giving up Kjerstad, but we still have Kauser, right? We still have a left-handed top outfield prospect, and the one we're keeping can actually play defense. I do recognize Kjerstad could wind up being like a 35 home run hitter. And that's tough. And we like those lefty bats. We're stacking them up. But we are stacking them up. So losing him, we still got a lot of lefty bats. Okay? I think this is the deal. We throw him a pitcher back in return. Kjerstad and Westberg. That's a close enough deal right there. That's a close enough deal. Who'd do this? Who would do this? I think it makes a lot of sense. Because let me see if I still have this up somewhere. Just working on a sort of lineup scenario based on what the team would look like when Holiday's there, when he's not there. I think it makes all the sense in the world, by the way, to, not call Holiday up until after those 16 days of service time where we lock him up for a full year. I mean, I'm sorry. 2 reasons. One, maybe more than 2 reasons. I'm not sure. But first of all, yeah, I mean, it's just too valuable to have him for 1 full year in exchange for a couple of weeks not breaking camp with the team in April. Reason number 2 has to do with the schedule, which, wait do I break this down, okay? One of these days I might get an audience. Hold on a sec. I might get an audience someday. I don't know how many of my fellow Oriole fans have looked at the schedule for the upcoming season, but there is an extremely noticeable. I want the calendar-looking version of this. I believe I'm getting there. All right, here we go. So, as you know, we open up with a set against the Angels at the end of March. And then we're home again against the Royals. I mean, the first month of this season is about as easy of a schedule as you can ask for. So I'm fine with Holiday not being a part of our lineup that's already pretty good. Going through a series with the Angels, the Royals twice. Actually, if he gets called up here, he'd be here in time for somewhere around the Twins. But yeah, if you take advantage of, and let me look again and make sure what the service time is. Service time, MLB. I think it's 16 days. I think it's 16 days. You keep a player like Holiday down in the minors, then here it is, 16 days or more. It typically takes the form of demoting a player from the major leagues to the minor leagues for 16 days or more for reasons unrelated to their performance. Now, look, I understand for a high, hey, how you doing there, Thomas? I understand for a prospect of Holiday's caliber. Maybe the optics look bad where it's like, well, we're going to fleece you a year closer to being to a free agent down the line, which is going to cost you some money. And maybe that'll rub Holiday the wrong way, and it'll just start the beginning of a bad relationship with the team, and that might affect his play. But here's what you do. And look, the Brewers have already done this with Jackson Churio. This dude hasn't had one major league at bat yet, and the Brewers have already decided to lock him up long term. I feel like the Orioles should do the same thing. So this is how you convince Holiday to go with the program here. It's like, look, dude, we're gonna get an extra year out of you at an affordable price. But guess what? That affordable price is going to be raised up because we're not going to just let you sit here and go through arbitration every year or whatever. We're offering you a big contract. We're going to give you the contract, all right? But in return, you just got to spend a couple of weeks down in Rochester. No big whoop, all right? And again, you look at this Orioles opening schedule, and it's like, do we really need Jackson Holiday? Can we get by with a Ramon Urias in the infield? I think we can. Angels, end of March. Royals, Pirates, Sox, Brewers at home, Twins at home, and then boom, Holiday's called up. And then you got the Royals, and then as soon as you call him up, look at what he has to face to get his feet wet. And you got the Royals, you got the A's, you got the Angels again. So a perfect set of games, I feel like, to get yourself acclimated. And the whole idea is that by come June, when the schedule really gets difficult, well, now Holiday, even though he didn't start the season on the team, he's been there since mid-April. This gives him a month and a half of a pretty easy schedule to get settled in. Now, I'm not saying this all just works the way I'm saying, but, you're just playing the odds here. You'd rather watch a rookie try to break in against softer teams with shittier pitching. It's just help with their confidence. But, there's some players where that doesn't matter. They'll come in like gangbusters against anybody. I mean, if Holiday comes in like Evan Carter did when he got called up by the Rangers last year, none of this makes any difference. The dude's going to rake. It doesn't matter who. Throw him in the lineup. But, so Thomas, what do you think of my trade? This is my trade offer with the news with Bradish out and John Means being a question mark after already being out for a couple of years, and we've got like 6 starts out of him since like 2021 or something. I just feel like we got to go out and get another pitcher. And I think we got 2 options: a trade for Luzardo, or we pony up the cash for Jordan Montgomery. Let's take a look at what Montgomery's looking for. He's looking for like $20 million a year, right? It's more about the number of years. I feel like if we can convince Montgomery, like, hey, you're joining a 100-win team with high aspirations, and you're going to be, You've got a guaranteed spot in this very good rotation. You're going to be playing with Corbin Burns. You're going to be the lefty man. I don't know. I was up on Montgomery before the season ended last year because I knew he was going to be a free agent, and I thought, you know what? He's kind of that guy that might not be as expensive as some, like a Blake Snell, but can really put up some solid numbers. But then he goes and pitches in the postseason and helps pitch Texas to a World Series. So that immediately inflated his market value. So as soon as that happened, I'm like, all right, well, okay, he's out of our price range. And if he's looking for like a 6-year deal or something, that's just not going to happen. But now we're looking at, it's February 16th. Spring training has begun. Pitchers and catchers have reported. And my man here is still looking for a job. So maybe that asking price, or more to the point, how much time he's looking for, how many years, maybe that comes down to a level that the Orioles might consider. Teams that have the high chance, in my opinion, are the Phils, Red Sox, or Rangers. Yeah, I'm sure they were going to see names like that in all of these, what do you call it, the pundit articles. I just feel like, the Orioles are a dark horse. The Orioles are a dark horse. Like, again, I'm only saying this is even feasible if Montgomery and his agent, he's not a Boras guy, is he? But yeah, if they can come to terms with, like, potentially maybe like a 3-year, $55 to $60 million deal, something like that. I mean, that'd add another $20 million a year to the Orioles' payroll, and it would still keep them like in the bottom 5 in the league. And we've got new ownership. I feel like we can pay him this. I feel like we can do that, and that would give us the lefty in this rotation that isn't named Cole Irvin. Oh God, I just realized there's a lot of tabs open. I'm streaming, and there's a lot of tabs open. That's not good. All right, so here's the trade, Thomas. If we go for Luzardo, okay? It's pretty fair in the value department. I think considering what yes, Snell for me is a no. I mean, when you come to the Yankees with a proposal and they laugh at how expensive it is, even with this new ownership we have, I don't see us going after. And I just don't like it. I feel like you're paying for what he did rather than what he's going to do. With a guy like Luzardo, I feel like you're paying for what he can do. With a guy like Snell, I feel like you're going to be paying for what he did, and paying a lot. The guy leads the league in walks. I mean, I understand he's got his own sort of style of pitching, and it works for him. But there's a lot of seasons where it didn't work for him. And I don't know. There's just something about a guy coming off a Cy Young season, going to get a big contract no matter where he winds up. I don't know what kind of motivation he's going to have. I know Burns is going to be motivated because it's a contract year. He's coming in a gun for hire, and however he performs is going to dictate the kind of money he's going to make for the next 5 to 10 years. But you take a guy like... who the hell was I talking about? Oh, Snell? I don't know. I feel like Snell is just like, all right, I just got my second Cy Young. I know I'm about to get a fat deal. And can't you just see him going to the Yankees and just stinking up the joint? Or at least at the, underperforming in some degree. Because it's like, yep, I made it to the Yankees. You see it happen all the time. All-star players... They finally get that Yankee contract. They go there. And then they're just, kind of sitting on their rich, fat ass. A shell of their former selves in terms of production. So, yeah. The Marlins have been on the record as saying they are willing to trade Luzardo. It's already. If I ask, are the Marlins willing to trade Luzardo? I know this is kind of silly to ask it here, but it's going to lead to at least a few articles. Well, there you go. The Miami Herald says the Marlins have been willing to listen to proposals for pitcher Jesus Luzardo all off season, and sources say the Baltimore Orioles displayed the most interest. The Orioles ultimately were unwilling to meet the Marlins' asking price. Now, I feel like just because that happened, that maybe they got together and they came up with a potential proposal and they couldn't agree. That doesn't mean, they can't come back to each other. Well, I did, Tom. You also didn't know that spring training started when it started, okay? So if I'm sitting here telling you something, I promise. I'm not talking out of my ass. I don't want to get on here and run a YouTube channel where I'm spitting out a bunch of shit that isn't factual. But yeah, there's a couple of other Marlin pitchers, by the way, that aren't as expensive as Luzardo that they're also talking about being on the block. The Marlins have an abundance of pitching. They've got a very rare, almost envious situation where they're in need of position players and they've got a surplus of pitching. Whereas most teams usually have the opposite problem, including the Orioles. But as trade partners, it just makes sense. They're both smaller market teams trying to help each other out. I don't think anyone would try to fleece the other, so to speak, like the White Sox were trying to do, asking for the likes of Jackson Holliday in return for Dylan Cease. No, I don't think you're going to get that kind of ridiculous. But I think the Marlins did want Sammy Basallo. They wanted Basallo, and the Orioles are like that. He's not on the table. But I'm looking at the Marlins team, and I'm saying, yeah, you could use an outfielder that's ready to start now, outfielder / DH. You need an infielder. Well, I can give you one that can play first or second, third, or short with above average defense. And so far, what looks to be a pretty good bat. Maybe not a whole lot of pop, but good contact hitter. And Jordan Westburg, you can slot him all over the infield. You can play Kjerstad in the corner outfield. And then you got Seth Johnson, who, look, maybe he's not making your rotation, but you're losing a pitcher. We're throwing you one back that's like in our top 7 or 8 in terms of market value. I really do think this is if a Luzardo trade could be executed, it would be this. And again, the loss of Westburg, you got to look at it as a potential infield of Kobe Mayo at third, Gunnar Henderson at short, Jackson Holliday at second, and then Ryan Mountcastle or Ryan O'Hearn currently, and then maybe down the line Basallo at first. So we've got a money infield without Jordan Westburg. But at the same time, it is difficult to see a guy like him go if we were to trade him, because I just think he's going to just add a lot to any team he plays for because of his versatility. He's got a great attitude. There's been nothing but positive remarks about his team attitude and his clubhouse influence. So, yeah, there's a lot of reasons to hate to see Jordan Westburg go. But when you're just looking at needs and what we can afford to give up without shooting ourselves in the foot, this is the deal. This is the deal right here. And I mean, if they're saying, well, this is a little bit short of value for value, well, throw in, I don't know, one of those compensation picks or something, or throw in, I don't know, throw in some. I mean, you can make this a 4-player thing. What do you need? We're getting an infielder, you're getting an outfielder, you're getting a pitcher. Uh, I mean, I don't know what they would want, but probably somewhere in this neighborhood of a Cole Irvin or maybe a Mike Ballman or something you throw at him. Not Ciano Perez. We need a good lefty reliever. And I want to hold on to Povich. Plus, that would put us over now. But yeah, I think, you throw in like a Cole Irvin if you want an extra pitcher. If you want an extra bat, maybe, where's Kobe May? Oh, that's another thing. And when talking about losing Westberg, there's still yet another infielder, fellow by the name of Connor Norby. Connor Norby is, where is he at on the prospect list? This dude, we got so much stuff going on. Here he is down here. He's the 20. He's got a value of 8. Actually, more valuable than Urias at this point. So, yeah, you got Norby. And then you still got Jorge Mateo laying around as your bench defense replacement / pinch runner / throw him in the outfield and an emergency guy. So he has a defined role. So, yeah. Here's the deal. Between Kobe Mayo, who you want to see come up because he's got an amazing bat, lots of power, were he to come up again, I've already described what that infield would look like. But let's say in spring training, Mayo does not look ready to even get a shot at the majors. But Connor Norby has a great spring. I don't mind having, say, Gunnar at third. Holiday moves to short, and then Westberg can play second with Norby kind of, maybe splitting at bats or something. I don't know. You can move these guys around. Again, Gunnar can play third or short. Holiday can play short or second. Westberg can play all three. And then Norby, I know he plays second. I don't think he can play short, but he can probably play third. So you can definitely, and Urias can play second and third. So, yeah, with all those pieces and Norby as another potential, you can see this is page 1 of our best players, and you don't have to go down far. I mean, he's down here. Austin Hayes is here. Felix Bautista, obviously he's injured. He's worth more than Santander at this point. So yeah, Connor Norby is kind of the forgotten guy in the equation here. Thomas, you got any questions? I'm probably done talking. I need to get some breakfast. But I guess I was gonna take a look again at these lineups, and now with so if we're breaking camp without Holiday, and we need 13 position players, I believe these are the 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right? But I'm talking about, whoops, what do you got over here? What's the Orioles season schedule? I mean, you want me to go series by series? I thought we went over April. It's quite easy. May is leans easy but pretty neutral, and then June is fucking really hard. After that, I haven't really looked. But I mean, what are you more specifically interested in terms of schedule? I just don't. I think Cole Irvin is just a better, just long relief guy, spot starter. I don't want to see him as a guy in the rotation, like announced as a rotate. When you got to plug him in, you plug him in. But I don't want him having a spot, a dedicated spot. To me, that latter months like August and September. Okay, well, let's look. I mean, you got the dog days of August. Well, in terms of home and away, it looks like more away games. 3, 6, 10 games at home versus what? 5, 8, 9, 11. Yeah, a lot more road games. So we had no problems playing on the road last year. That wasn't an issue. In terms of opponents, there's 1 week in here that's pretty tough. Well, one tough week, one potentially tough week. The tough week is Houston with 4 games at home, and then we got to hit the road and play the Dodgers. I mean, we're talking about the 2 teams that could very well be the 2 odds-on favorites to make the World Series this year, and playing them back to back. Got a day off in between. I would hope so. It's a trip out to the other side of the country. But, yeah, that's not too tough. And then I guess the semi-tough one, just depending on what our form is like, what their form is like. But, whenever you're playing in division opponents, Blue Jays, Rays, both on the road, that's a little tough. The rest of it's fine. We got Boston at home, 4 games. I'm loving that. You got the Nats for a couple of games, can beat up on them. You got the Rockies in here at the end of the month, you can beat up on them. I mean, I look at this and I'm immediately going, winning record, maybe not extremely good. I would say, what if there's like maybe 27 games here? I could see us going something like 16-11. I could see like a 16-11 kind of record in this month. Now that June, that's looking like a 10-18, 10-19 month. All right, so September, it starts with a bang. We finish up with the Rockies and then at home versus the White Sox. All right, I'll take all 4 of those. Home against Tampa, at Boston, at Detroit. We got a lot of off games in September. This is what is jumping out to me, is having 1 off day every week of September. I don't know if I've ever seen that. That's nice. It's going to help with the bullpen. And let me go back to August here for a sec. I got to look closer at the teams, but yeah, August, we got that one stretch. Yeah, that's going to be tough. What is that? 13 games without a day off, and the final 4 of those is against Houston. And then you got to get on a plane, go cross country, and play the Dodgers. I could definitely see this week here between the 22nd and the 29th. I'm sorry, every time I hover, it covers up what I want to point at. I could see that being a real big pitfall potential. 7 games. Hopefully we come out of it no worse than like 2-5, but it could suck. All right, the Tigers in, home of the Giants, home of the Tigers again, at the Yankees, at the Twins. Hopefully by the time we play the Twins, they've already wrapped up that easy-ass division and they aren't playing for much. Tigers should be out of it by then. Yeah. Giants will probably be out of it by then. Yeah, it's not bad. And more home games than road games, I think. 3, 6, 9, 12 versus 3, 6, 9. Actually, 1 extra home road game. Pretty much a split. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. It's that June, dude. That June is tough, man. Tampa, Toronto, Tampa again, Atlanta, Philly, the Yanks, the Astros. And then, 3 games we can breathe against Cleveland. And then 4 games against the World Series champs. You can't make a tougher month than this. And plus, look, 1 day off in the whole month. Honestly, who made this fucking June schedule? 1 day off in the entire month. We got to go to Canada. We got to go all the way down to Florida. We got to go across to Houston. Get the fuck out of here with this schedule. This could really fuck up the whole season. I'm not lying. I mean, we got to come out of this just making sure we don't go like fucking 6-22 or something. And our consecutive streak of series without getting swept, not counting the postseason against Texas last year, of course. With that record still intact, if it is still intact come June, I would bet that it ends here. How do you not avoid a sweep against at least one of these series? God damn. Somebody really took the piss when they put that together. 1 day. 1 day. Unbelievable. Yeah, the Tigers winning the Central. Yeah, I do see people getting on the Tiger bandwagon. But I also feel like it's kind of easy to sit there and pick a dark horse in the AL Central because, you know, other than, well, I guess Kansas City and Chicago. That's just it. Kansas City and Chicago stink. You know what you have with Minnesota, and they just lost Sonny Gray. It doesn't feel like they've really upgraded. And then who's left? Cleveland? So it's almost like by default, Detroit's should be better, and because 82 wins might win it. Yeah, I get that. I don't think it's that hot of a take, Thomas. I don't want to take the wind out of your sails. It's a decent take. I don't know how hot of a take it is. Right? You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? All right. Well, I need to look at a lineup that wouldn't feature. I'm going to redo this whole lineup again. Because I'm gonna make a lineup that doesn't have Westberg and doesn't have Kjerstad. Because this is a lineup with Kjerstad and Westberg. This one has Westberg. So what if you went, and I'm now starting to think Mullins leading off might not be a good idea. I'll see how his spring goes. I mean, if he has a good spring, I want to try to hit him lead off. I'm really trying to build a lineup where against right-handed pitching, you never have to face two righties in a row. And once you get into, pitching matchups and bullpens shit down in the later innings, you look at a lineup like this, not only do you not face two right-handers in a row, you don't face two left-handers in a row because of our switch hitters. So you can't sit there and just, bring in a lefty specialist and knock two of three guys. I mean, yeah, you're going to constantly have to face somebody you don't want to face with lineups like these. And with this lineup over here, only two righties at all. Forget about it. And one of them's batting ninth. You're not even expecting anything. So it's pretty much just Austin Hayes and a bunch of lefties raking. I like that. But now I got to think about a lineup where maybe we don't have Westberg on the team because we traded him for Luzardo along with Kjerstad. So what would we have then? Well, let's see. Who would be the two guys? Well, I mean, if we did this, first of all, okay. So I'd take Westberg out here, right? Here's what I'm going to do. Holiday comes in. If we make this trade before the season starts, now I do want him up game one. Henderson moves to short. And then you got Mayo up here with Urias. And then Kjerstad's gone now because you traded him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You got one more spot. You got 4 outfielders. Got a first base platoon, backup catcher. You could go infield or outfield here. Who do you want? Maybe a Connor Norby. Maybe I don't know. Let's go back to our guys here. Bradfield's got time. He needs time. I mean, I don't know about somebody like a Ryan McKenna again. Or has McKenna been is he even with the club anymore? I mean, you could always go out and add a bat, by the way. You know? We feel like our offense is fine. Leave it as is, but you make a trade and then maybe you go out and get a bat. Kyle Stowers. Stowers might make sense. McKenna is still with us. So yeah, maybe Stowers makes sense. Another thing it would do, if Kjerstad's not like the DH, then O'Hearn is the DH. So actually, I'm going to just put O'Hearn here as like the DH. If I can type. And then, okay, where would that one spot go? Again, it feels like you want to put it in the infield. Mayo can play both corners. Urias, second, third, short. And then you got a short and a second. I feel like you'd want... I mean, maybe you can get away with another like corner outfielder who can play first. Is that what Stowers can do? Not sure. Let me see here. I mean, if Norby can make the team, fuck it. Why not? If it's not Norby, then maybe a Stowers. All right. And if it's neither, then maybe it's a pickup. Maybe somebody picked up off waivers. Whoever, this year's Aaron Hicks or something, right? Somebody. We'll find somebody. We got O'Hearn. We got Hicks. We can get somebody for peanuts. I'm sure of it. We have a pretty good eye for finding guys like that and plugging them in. All right, so yeah, and I want to comprise a lineup with Mullins not leading off and without Westberg and Kjerstad in it. Okay, so I think Rutschman should be the leadoff hitter against everybody at this point. I don't know. Best on base percentage. We don't have to worry about him not being a, classic speed stolen base threat. Our team has great team speed. We run the bases well, but we don't necessarily have to have that prototypical leadoff hitter that gets on first and steals second. Rutschman walks a lot, and he's got good gap power with the doubles. He's got a little bit of pop. Hopefully that's going to grow. But I don't want to see Gunnar Henderson leading off anymore because it's too much power leading off. He's not Kyle Schwarber. He's got to be hitting at least against righties in the 3 or 4 hole, I feel. Maybe even the 2 hole. We'll take a look. In fact, I think it is the 2 hole that I want to put him in. And I'll show you why. Yeah, let's go ahead and put Henderson here. Because now Now you got Henderson coming up with a chance, at least in every first inning of every game, to have a runner on base. Wouldn't that be nice? All right. Wouldn't be. I mean, Thomas, he did it a bunch last year, and it didn't hurt us at all. And I have him actually against lefties here. This is my lefty sort of what I feel our best lineup is. And I have him leaving off against lefties. The only reason why I had Mullins in there, and again, this is more just out of me being hopeful that Mullins can show in the spring that he's fully healthy and puts up some decent spring stats, shows he's got that base stealing ability in him, then yeah, he would be a big weapon at the top of the lineup. But until he can prove it, I guess I'm going to go ahead and move him down in the order. And still, having Mullins hit like 7th for you, that's a nice problem to have. All right, so you got Henderson hitting 2nd. Now, against righties, you're going to put Santander here in the 3-hole. And he's been hitting 3rd a lot last year. I feel like he should be a 4 or 5 type hitter. I feel like Gunnar is eventually the 3 guy. But against righties, again, I really want to just go after them with opposite hitting guys until it's necessary. So then you can go right back to a lefty, and here's where O'Hearn comes in as a DH. So boom, switch left. Then you go to Mountcastle, your first righty. And by the way, yes, left field in Baltimore is huge, but Ryan Mountcastle is the one right-handed hitter on our team, at least for now. Maybe Norby can show us the same. Not Norby, Mayo. But he's got light tower power. I've seen him hit it over Baltimore a few times already. Not worried about it. Boom. Have him in the 5 spot. Batting 6 for you then? Where do you go? Now, I think 6 is where you then stick Mullins. Because I want to be able to, again, I want to break up these right-handed bats. And I think Hayes is going to come next in left field. So you got Mullins in center. And then you throw Hayes out there in left. Which leaves the final 2 spots. But this is the team with Mayo. Holy shit. I didn't think about that. This is the team with Mayo. Okay. I think Mullins might wind up hitting 7th anyway. Check this out. Okay. O'Hearn is getting demoted. O'Hearn's getting demoted. There's no way to... Okay. And then same deal here. I'm going to flip these 2 guys. Oh, actually, no. I take that back. Here, and let me just be sure about this, by the way. Mayo is a right-handed batter, right? Yeah. Okay. Just want to be 100%. All right. So if Mayo's got the kind of pop I think he does, then let's stick him here. And then you got, oh my God, then you still have, this lineup is sick. Who's left? Santander, Mountcastle, O'Hearn, Hayes, and then Holiday, Hayes. Holiday. Hayes. And then that leaves, what is it? Oh, whoops. Forgot about that. Right field. Second, third, short, left, center, right. Wait. What am I missing? First, second, third, short, left. Oh, I'm missing Mullins. God damn, where do you hit these people? Our lineup is loaded. If we get Kobe Mayo in here. We got Austin Hayes batting ninth, maybe? All right, I take it back. I didn't realize we were so lefty heavy. Okay. I take it back. We don't need Mullins batting ninth. All right, so I want O'Hearn back here. This is ridiculous. And Mountcastle back here. Does it make sense for Mullins to hit behind Mountcastle? And the 6 hole? I mean, it's not bad. And then, why am I sleeping again? Left, center, right. DH first. Oh yeah, Mayo. Okay, so then you put Mayo here. And then Holiday, and then Austin Hayes. Last year an all-star. And he's going to be your number 9 hitter? You got to be kidding me. Am I smoking crack? I mean, for all we know, Holiday might wind up being a good leadoff hitter. The thing is, if Mullins... Shit. Damn. I could see a case for Gunnar third. Jeez. Huh. Anybody having fun yet? Anybody? Nobody's watching. This fucking thing's never taken off. Thought people couldn't get enough Orioles content. Hello? 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 All right, folks, I guess long story short. Hey, Thomas. I thought there was nobody here. The one thing I'm thinking is if Mayo... See, here's the thing. Let's say Mayo's not ready. Then you put Hayes there. And then you just hit Urias ninth. Or even Mateo. Boom. There you go. There you go. So if Mullins can lead off, I'd like it looking like this. Of course, Westberg would now be gone because of the Luzardo trade, so that would be Urias as well. Playing third base with Gunnar, and now at short. And Holiday now at second. Why do I have... God damn. These are some nice looking lineups, I got to tell you. These are some nice looking lineups. You turn Urias into Kobe Mayo, and then it can afford to like knock Austin Hayes down to your number 9 hitter. That's ridiculous. And then you still got Kjerstad in the mix. Like, let's say Ryan O'Hearn was a one-hit wonder, and he starts hitting like he did when he was in Kansas City. Well, guess what? We got another guy who is a left-handed power hitter who can DH. Guy by the name of Heston Kjerstad. You got him on standby. You got Connor Norby as a backup infielder as well. Oh wait, does this not include? Oh, that's why. Okay, there's no Mateo here. I'm like, who is this spot for? And I put Norby. Mateo wasn't there. Okay, so yeah, that would be the 13 position players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 13. Okay, that makes more sense. Now, could Connor Norby have an amazing spring and work his way into the team? Maybe. Maybe over Mayo, if Mayo isn't good enough yet. Maybe over Holiday, if they want to get that service time situation for the first few weeks. But I think Cowser is going to break with the team, borrowing a April or a March disaster. Kjerstad might be on the fence, depending on whether or not we go out and trade for somebody. And then there's this. Well, now we got to change this. Now we got Bradish gone. Now we got Means gone. And I know you're saying Kramer is a 3. You know what? I want Wells as the 3 over Kramer because Wells was one of the best starters in the first half of the season. And if we're only going to use him for 100 innings as a starter and he's done by the All-Star break, well, let's push him up in the rotation and use him. So now you're going to need a backup. All right, for long relief, again, I want a righty now. I just refuse to put Cole Irvin as my number 5 starter. So it's just going to be question mark here. I guess I'm throwing in Mike Ballman now as the sort of longer relief right-handed guy. Whoops. And here I'll just put Monty or Luzardo, hopefully. This could wind up being like a Lorenzen. If you have Monty, you'd put him in here. Well, actually, you probably put him, you slot him twice. You're making a big free agent deal. Grayson's still young. I don't think he's going to take it as a slight. You know, I think it'll be all about seniority or whatever. And the fact that Montgomery just came off a World Series winning team. All right, so you'd put him second. Grayrod third, then Wells, then Kramer. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. If we can't have Bradish and we had Monty instead, I'm fine with that. Or you put Luzardo right there, and now we got a lefty. Either way, we got a lefty. That's the thing. If Means isn't going to be ready, we got a starting rotation with no lefty. We need one lefty in there. And I don't want it to be Cole Irvin. All right? You hearing me, folks? All right, so many tabs open. This is probably... jeez. No, that's not a fair trade. Now, I think I proposed the only really legitimately possible trade. You're getting Kjerstad and Westberg. Westberg's not even a prospect anymore, I guess. I guess he's got enough service time where he's a major league ready to go player. And again, the versatility, the contact rate, the solid glove, the good attitude for the clubhouse. This guy's got a lot of good things going his way. If I were the Marlins, I'd be very happy to get a Jordan Westburg. And then Kjerstad, again, the sky's the limit. They could have themselves the next big lefty power bat in baseball with a guy like Kjerstad. Again, he might not be a complete player. He might be a liability in the field. You might have to put him in as a DH. But hey, Soler was a DH for you for a while, right? You don't mind designating a guy to just mash. Why not make it Kjerstad? And then, yeah, we'll toss a pitcher back. Even though you got plenty of pitching. This way, you just bump a few guys up and replace whoever made an opening with this guy. And then you're set. You're set, Miami. You still have good pitching. And now you got a couple of pieces to a good lineup as well. All right, I think I'm done. I got to go get something to eat. Any news breaking since I started? Probably not. Anything else Orioles related I wanted to talk about? Probably not, but I'll just click here. Set sights on April return for Means. It's like, yeah, that's great. It's nice to have a timetable. It's nice to know, Yeah, I mean, if he's only going to miss potentially a couple of starts, that's fine. But I just simply cannot look at John Means anymore as a guy that goes, yeah, because that's the mistake I made as soon as we got Corbin Burnes in the trade. I looked at our staff and I went, well, let me just write Means in. Look how nice John Means look as a 4 starter. This guy was our ace just 2 years ago, and now our staff is so loaded. He's our 4. That's the kind of rose-colored glasses I was wearing. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, he ended the season last year hurt again. And now he's coming in the spring hurt, or at least behind in the schedule. So, yeah, maybe he does come back in April. Maybe he can still give us 27 starts and put up some great numbers. But I just can't sit here and go, yeah, I'm expecting that. No, I'm saying I'm expecting Means to have at least one more setback between now and October. And I want another guy in there. I mean, if we get a situation where we got a surplus, nobody's ever complained about it. No one's ever complained about, damn it, we've got too much pitching. I just don't know what to do. We got a guy right now that would be starting in somebody else's rotation. We can't even get him out there. Don't worry about it. Situations like that have a tendency to take care of themselves, right? Between other pitchers getting hurt, or maybe you want to, like I could see a situation between Tyler Wells only able to handle a certain amount of workload, and then John Means, who when he is right or was right, can handle a workload, but now is more of a, injury risk, consistent question mark in the injury department. Well, how about you have a spot that's kind of dedicated for Wells and Means, whoever makes sense at any given time. So, yeah, if you have that, then you still have a spot to bring in somebody like a Luzardo or a Montgomery. And, yeah, I think we need to do it. Now's the time. I mean, look, folks, we got Corbin Burnes for virtual peanuts. The Brewers didn't get back crap, but what we gave away was a pitcher who I like, but we simply cannot really find the right spot for him. I think he'd work as a good reliever, but we went out and got Kimbrel to close, and we already got a couple of lefty middle relief guys that we rely on. I feel like DOL is going to be a closer. He's going to be the next Josh Hader in Milwaukee. And we lost Ortiz, but again, no place for him, really. and a compensation pick. So we got Corbin Burns for virtually nothing. So yeah, even if the cost of Luzardo is one of our, top 5 guys in Kjerstad, and then Westberg, who probably would be a top 5 guy if he's still qualified. 2 very, very good young players. Plus a fucking another pitcher thrown in. Now you might say, well, that's too much to ask for Luzardo, but think about the big picture. Let's write out this entire trade in one statement. Okay? We give Joey Ortiz, right? DL Hall, compensation pick, Heston Kjerstad, who is it? Jordan Westberg. And then who am I throwing in there as the I forgot who the pitcher was. I forgot who the damn pitcher was. It's like the least who gives a shit part about all this, but I just wanted to find it. Seth Johnson, right. Now you're saying to yourself, wow, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players and a pick that's basically end of first round pick. But we get Corbin Burns, okay? Fucking Cy Young Award winner, prime of his career, only for a year, I get it, but and then we get Luzardo too. I mean, that is a fleece job. I'm sorry. You're like, what are we going to do without Ortiz? Well, we got a guy named Holiday coming. What are we going to do without DL Hall? Well, fuck it. We got Perez and Colomb in there. Right? Compensation pick. Who gives a shit? We won it because Gunnar won the Rookie of the Year. So it was a pick that didn't even exist. So who cares about that? Kjerstad. Well, we still got Kauser. All right? Westberg. Well, we still got Norby. All right? And then Johnson. Well, I'm throwing, Povich. Like, these are the guys who are replacing what we're giving up to get Corbin Burns and Jesus Luzardo. I'm telling you right now. It's making too much sense. I love you, Jordan Westberg. I love you, Heston Kjerstad. But you got to go. I want Luzardo. I want him. 3 years of control. Lefty. Good stuff. And it would just make our rotation, God, once everybody is healthy, oh, God, our rotation is nasty. And we still got this lineup that doesn't even feature Kobe Mayo yet. Sam Basallo down the line. Kauser's still just a bench guy at this point, but he's got upside. Holy shit, what's not to love? But we got to do it. And if we can't make the trade, we pay up for Montgomery. Okay? End of story. I don't know. Add an extra $1 million to his deal and shorten it to fucking 3 years. Okay? Add an extra $1 million per year, but shorten it. All right? I'm done. I'm done figuring out how to make the Orioles win the World Series. Right. If you're watching this and you enjoyed me just talking about the Orioles, well, I'm going to be doing a whole lot more of it, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button? Excuse me. I couldn't have picked a better time to belch into the microphone. Why don't you hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell to let you know when I'm live streaming. I basically live stream. I don't really make videos like, to prep to play later. I like to jump on and talk. That's what I do. It fits me and my lazy mentality. All right. So yeah, go ahead and sign up because come season starts, this is going to be your flagship YouTube channel in terms of calling Orioles games. That's the plan. 162 games. I don't know if I can call every one of them, but I'm going to try. I'm going to throw in a few spring training games as well. There'll be at least one piece of Orioles merch. I'm probably going to put that tiny little Orioles poster just like right here between Florence and this light that's behind me. It's such a small poster. I think it can fit there. If it's over here, if it's over there, if it's over there, it's way too far back. You won't be able to even see it. But, yeah. Thomas, you still around? Thanks for hanging out. Who else is here? Rishi Rich. 2 people. Hey, man, it's a brand new channel. Dims the brakes. I feel like that when I did my very first stream when I was calling a game, I had like 5 people at least. I don't know. What I do know is this. The Baltimore Orioles, come hell or high water, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. It's happening. Let's go ahead and get this ownership the exchange, changing of the guard. Let's get that locked up. Let's get that finalized. Let's get that confirmed. Let's go Sox for the division. What? White Sox for the Central? Sure, I'll root for them. Yep. Baltimore, folks. What's the day? What's that opening day? March what? March 28th, 3:05 p.m. Oriole Park at Camden Yards versus the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Is that what that is how they're known now, right? Or is it just the LA Angels? Did they drop the Anaheim part? I don't even fucking know. One of the weirdest team name things I've ever seen. Okay. One more look here through the... Oh, wait. Am I taking up the screen? I am. Sorry about that. One more look here through the Fangraphs depth chart here, just to take a look. This is their version of the lineup, where you got Hayes hitting 5th and Mountcastle hitting 7th. Now, I know Mountcastle against righties isn't great, but come on. I'm flip-flopping these two for sure. Otherwise, it looks very much similar. Adley and Gunnar would flip-flop for me. And then Mountcastle and Hayes for the most part. Yeah. And this is, of course, if Westberg is still on the team. Skipping the Stream Red Sox home opener. Oh, skipping school? He better. I've never not skipped school for opening day. If you don't skip school for opening day, you're not a baseball fan. Don't even get at me. And they have Sam Hilliard actually breaking camp with the team in the outfield. So I was talking about a couple of other options, like Kyle Stowers. I guess Sam Hilliard would make sense. This is the guy we got from Atlanta in the offseason, right? It might be a situation where it makes sense to throw him out there, breaking camp, and just DFA him if he doesn't do the business. You know, we picked him up off waivers, and we can just as quickly dump him and say, you're not the guy. So, yeah, that's why we have him. And then down in the beyond the major league roster, any other names jumping out? Tyler Nevin, no. I'm not expecting much except for an emergency. Terrin Vavra's still around. I guess, yeah, he's coming up on age 27. Yeah, his window has pretty much closed in terms of expecting any kind of interesting prospects. Nick Maton, that's an interesting one there. There's a chance with a really solid spring that he could be that final infield piece if Mayo's not ready to get called up. If we were to, again, trade away Westberg, there's a couple of reasons why he might make the team. And then pretty much everybody else. Okay, so there's Kjerstad and Kauser. So they don't have either one making the bench. I find that a little bit surprising. It's just Hilliard over Kauser. Yeah, I would flip those. There's also Dylan Beavers. He's a first-round pick in 22. Maybe he'll have a big jump this coming season. I know we also have another lefty potential. Like, let's say I made the point of, like, well, I don't want to put Cole Irvin in the rotation because I like him as the long relief lefty. Well, I guess Bruce Zimmerman could come up and be that guy in the bullpen. Or be that fifth starter as a lefty. I've yet to see anything from Bruce Zimmerman that I was excited about. I just feel, I mean, if we're talking about the Orioles from a couple of years ago, I'd be like, sure, show me what you got, Bruce, but not anymore. Our team's too good now. All right, that's going to do it for me, guys. I think I've said my piece. This has been the Bird Feed, and I'm your night owl, the bird watcher. I'll chirp at you later. See ya.